Hi everyone, now we are going to talk about tuple. Tuple is one of Python's container. Now you can see we have declared t here. T equals chicken, duck, dog, cat, and chickens. Therefore, tuple is not a unique container, so we can have two chickens here. Now, if we want to show items in tuple, we can do print. Then the 0 is an index of tuple's item. So now we say for zeros, we ask for print chicken. So we can run it. So now we run it. Then see we can see the chicken appears here. So now if we move on to how do we count a tuple, so then we say count. Then we have t.count chickens, which means we want to count how many chickens in the tuple t. So then we printed the result. So now we can see we have there are two chickens in the tuple. So this is the way we count the same items in a tuple. So if we want to do a range, we want to check the length of a tuple, then we say len, then bracket t, which means the size of the tuple. So for this for loop, we can print all the tuple in forward list here. So then we run it to see the result. Now we can see the forward list: chicken, duck, dog, cat, and chickens. So now if we want to do a backward printing, then we will do this one. So now we print the backward from -1 to minus many. So now we print it. So now we have a backward printing. So that's you can compare with the one before. So the before is a forward printing. Then now is the backward printing. Okay, now we look at the other one to see if we can change the tuple items from this assignment. So if we want to assign a new item to replace the first item in T, that's won't be able to do it. So if we run it, we can see an error here. So which means the tuple are immutable, which means unchangeable. So we cannot change one single item in a tuple. But however, if you want to change the whole tuple, you can do like, before we do a change, we can see we can increase a tuple by adding another tuple to the original tuple. So if we have t2 equals 1, 2, 3, then we print their sum up like a concatenation. So we do the result. Oh, we need to mark this one error first. We mark this up, then we do another run. So now we can see we have chicken, dog, cat, chicken, and 1, 2, 3. So they can be connected and be expanded by using plus sign to do it. And for next thing is, if we want to assign a whole tuple, like we assign T2 into T, then this is workable. So we can do this one, assign T2 to T to make it a new T. So if we print it, we can see now the T becomes 1, 2, 3. So you cannot change one single item in a tuple, but you can replace whole tuple by assigned one tuple to another. This is the tuple we want to introduce to everyone. So now we do a revision on the different container. So for list, we need a square bracket. Then inside the square bracket, we have each one items separated by a comma. And for a list, we can do whatever you want. So we can insert another tomato into a tomato. So for a list, you can do repetitive items. Then for set, we do set using a curly bracket. But inside the set, we can only do unique items. So you cannot put, if you put 2 apples here, then we put assign the A into a set, assign them to a B, then the result will remove 1 apple. So that's the difference between set and list. Then for the dictionary, it's key and value pairs. So every time you have one item, you need to have a key and a value, then separate them by a command. That's the dictionary. And the last, the tuple. Tuple is not changeable. So for each single item in a tuple, you cannot change it, but you can replace it by the whole tuple. That's a container for our lessons. Then after that, we are going to talk about another string. So now we want to look at the string here. So for the string, we wanted to use more flexible input. So we don't want to hard-coded a string into our program. So now we want to input strings. Then we want to see the length of the string. So now we do this one, and we give it a run to see what happens. Now the program asks you to input a string. So for here, I can type, I am Fanny. So we can see the result here. Now the length is 11. So let's say how the string length is counted. So for I am Fanny, for the string index, this one is 0, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this one is called index. But for counting the length, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So for this string, it's actually the length is 11, which is different to the index number. That's you need to be care of it. Now go back to our program. if we want to do a substring, so now let's see, we want to do a substring of the current input string. So we say string, then we give the index number from 2 to 10. But the printing will do from the index 2 until 9. So the index will be before the 10. Then the 10 won't be able to print it out. So then let's have a look at the running result. Now it's the same, we put input I am Fanny. So now you can see the result here is M, F-E-N-N-I, then we lost the last one, E, which means the index 10 won't be appears here, and the index 0 and 1 has gone. So now the result is just here, M and space F-E-N-N-I. So now we want to do our object-oriented programming. So now I want you to practice on how do you put the length into a class. So now we want you to practice to create a class which names text process. Then inside the class we want a function called doc length. So then I'll give you a bit time to practice it. Now let's have a look at how I put the length into the method. So now I have a class called text process. Then using a column here, then we put the def, which is functions. Then we call the def name is doc underscore length. Then we want the input to have a variable called a string. Then after it, we have a column here. Then we wanted to return the length of the string. So it's simply just like that, 2 lines. So we have the functions. For doing this one, later on, if every time we need to calculate the length of a string, even it's a longer document, we can still code this function, then give the whole document here, so then we can return the length of the document. This is the way we do object-oriented programming. So you can have the first little practice. Now we go back to our program. Then we finish this one, so then we go to the next string. Now this string is another practice. So we want to do something on the manipulating with the string. So now we have the same string input. So we have the length of the string. But now we want to split the string using a space. So now we will see what the result we can get from this one. So now we give it a run here. So we give another input here. And I say, I am Fanny. So see, now we have a list of our result. So the list will be the index 0 is I, then the next one is M, and the next one is Fanny. So we have split the input I am Fanny as a sentence. We split all the space, then we have 3 words here. That's the way if we want to split space using a regular expression. So here we do re.split. But before we using this one, we need to do import. So we need to do import re. as the RE is a core function from Python, so we don't need to do any pip install before using it. So you can simply just say import RE, so we can use the regular expression for doing string split. Now, if, for example, the user input doesn't contain any space, or there's a mix of space and other things like underscore, then we won't be able to do it. For example, if I try this one program again, then I say I am Fanny. So then we see the result. See here, then I won't be able to split M and Fanny. So in this case, we need to ask our program to split sentence using different things. So now here, we ask the program saying we want the program to split. This one is called non-word. Anything not A to Z for capital or small letter, or underscore, then it's called using backslash and the big capital W. So this one means all the non-word. Then we also want to split using underscore. Then we group it using bracket, square bracket on the left hand side and the right hand side. So now we can split a sentence if the sentence contains things like this one. So then we give it a try. Now I will say I am Fanny and I live in Taipei. Taiwan. So now we'll see what's the result we can get. So here, for the last one, see we have I, then for the apostrophe it was removed. So we have M here, then Fanny and I live in Taipei, then the comma is removed. But after the comma removed, because it split the comma, then we have another space here, and Taiwan, and this one has been used to split the sentence, so we have another space here. So that's the way we remove. But for regular expression, it is not always do things you like. So for this split, it's not perfect. So sometimes we need to consider if something happens which is not we want, we can also do a further advanced tidy up, which we will call it clean document. So now we can practice how to make a function called doc split word. Just use our simple line here. Okay, now we go back to our class. So now we have the second functions here. So we coded def, which is a function. Then we give the function a name called doc underscore split underscore word. Then we give a string. So every time we have a string, then we want to split it into words. So every time when you name a function, you just need to give yourself a meaningful function. So later on you look at it, you know how to call the functions. So we want the words is from a regular expression dot split. Then we split something which is not a word or is underscore. Then we split them to a set of words. So now we put into the string. So inside here we have the string as a variable here. So then we return a set of words here. So that's simply a second functions we have already done here. Now we'll go to the third string. Oh, we have done this one. So we go to the fourth string. So now here what I want to do is I want to say how do we replace something using the Python command. So now for this one we do replace something to something. So we still need to import a regular expression. Then the string I said 3 i's. Then I want the new strings called C string is a regular expression dot sub, which is a substring, but inside the substring we do a replace. So what do we want to replace? We have a group like we do split before. So we want to replace non-word and underscore with space. Then replace the things we want to replace is string. So for here, I think we'd better change this one into something like I dot m because I have one apostrophe inside my sentence, so I use double quote here instead. So now we can give our program a run. So now we run it and see what happens. So see now I put apostrophe here, but now after the replacement I have a more clean sentence called I am Fanny. But then I have the period at the end of the sentence has been replaced to be a space, but we can't see it here. But actually, if we count the length, it will one longer length until Fanny. Now I'll leave that for you to try it. So now we want to replace to do things like if we have more than one space. So if we have more than one space in a sentence, not in like a regular sentence typing, a single space in between words, if we have 2, then we can do replace like this one. We have a space, then we want to as many as possible space to be together, then we replace it into a single space. For example, if here I have been a wrong typing to put a long space here, then I want to tidy the sentence using this one. So I will do so then I will do this kind of replace here. What's happening? Oh, we haven't. We'll need another. So because we have a C string here, if I mark it out, then we haven't got a C string. So it appears to have some errors appears here. Now we run it and see what's happening. So see, I have a longer space here. And after the removal, I replace the non-word, so I should have 3 space here. But after the clean, I am able to remove so many space into 1 space. So the result will be I am Fanny, a proper sentence here. Now this is the regular expression to replace something that you don't want to something you want. It's a way of doing it. Now we can do another practice to put the doc_clean method into our class. So now I will give you a bit time to practice it.